Let's do this.
You're a little muffled, Autumn. I think it's the AirPods, but
Am I muffled?
a little bit. Awesome.
Am I muffled? Hello, hello.
I can hear you, but it's just a little like, but I think it might be the AirPods because I get that sometimes.
Hmm.
Awesome. I think we are live, guys. You guys are free to start your conversation.
Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I am Autumn Rowe. I am a songwriter, producer, DJ, activist, mom, therapist, a SONA board member, and creator advocate. Thank you for joining us for this edition of In Our Room with series. Today I'm joined by a songwriter and producer, artist discovery, A&R, soccer mom, extraordinaire, woman who juggles it all, Fran Hall. Give it up for Fran. Woo-hoo. Fran, I'm excited to talk to you today. And instead of me reading your bio, because we only have like 45 minutes, I'd like you to give the time to introduce yourself before we get into this conversation. So, can you tell us a little bit about you and your journey with music?
Okay, so I'm British and American. I have dual citizenship. My music journey started, actually it didn't start till I was in college. I would just hear melodies and I mean I've heard melodies and sang in my head for like ever, but in college I actually like decided, okay, I got to put these somewhere. So I reached out to producers and got them to produce songs, and then I um got them produced, picked up management, and that happened in the UK. And then when I moved out to LA over a decade ago, I got signed to my first publishing deal, and that's when I became a professional. But yeah, I'm a songwriter, producer, entrepreneur, business owner, and mom of two kids.
You're a very busy woman, and we're kind of reverse because I'm American, but I ended up signing in the UK, and you are from the UK and you signed in America. So that's we kind of we're like Lindsay Lohan with the two girls. We're swapped. Okay. Okay. So what are a few things that you consider required for a session?
Um, I think before I go to any session, I want to know who I'm working with. I want to know their strengths, their weaknesses. I want to set myself up for success, right? So I want to I research. I always research. I didn't used to when I first started because I didn't want to be intimidated by the names in the room. I didn't want to know, but now I definitely want to know who I'm working with. And I always listen if it's with an artist I'm working with. I want to listen to their music. I want to see where their project's headed. I want to read as much about them as possible. And then I always go in with like two or three ideas, like already started ideas, because I want to hit the ground running. And because normally that when you start a session, you chat for about a good hour. It's like a therapy session, you know. So I want to come in with like an open heart and an open mind, and I want everyone to have space for their ideas, their thoughts. I want to get to know the artist really well. And um, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, but that's what I do. That's what I do.
It's a big part of it. I mean, it's not just getting in a session and hearing some tracks. It's not how this works, you
No,
know.
your job is to find authenticity in the music that we're writing. And I don't feel like I can do that well unless I really know who I'm working with and what they want to say, what's their point of view. You know, like I'm not the artist, they are. So, I'm going to help them. I want to help them, support them really, and bring their ideas to life, but I don't feel good doing that unless I really know them. So, we gotta to build rapport and trust early on is super, super important if you're gonna get the best songs, I think.
I think you're absolutely right. What's your like approach to co-writing, writing solo, and how do you like what are some other ways that you prep for sessions?
Um, well, when I'm writing, well, if I prep, I'm gonna concept. I'm gonna like listen to old songs, new songs, and just sort of like get inspired. Um, I like to think about what kind of concepts are like the most relatable, and universal. And also just I want to simplify. I don't want to be too clever. It's so easy as a songwriter. You're like, I just want to say the cleverest thing and I want to be really smart with my lyrics, but like nobody understands that. So, you know.
Totally. I mean, you and I have been co-writing a lot. I think it's been super fun. I love how we're just like bouncing off of each other and
Yeah, and we have fun, like
yeah,
fun is like the most important part. If you're not having fun, what are you doing it for? You know?
it's
It's
literally just a hang and then we end up with like songs that we love.
Yeah, because also, we're comfortable with each other. And that is also like an essential component, I think, for writing the best material. Like you have to feel comfortable. If I'm all tense and like nervous, or, maybe you're with somebody that's a little judgy or like keeps shooting down your ideas all the time, like I just don't think that that inspires great creative work, and you've always been a great advocate for just working with people that you feel super comfortable with for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, too many sessions doing the opposite, and just getting no success from them. So I'm like,
Yeah.
stop. At some point we have to put some math into this. Like, okay, where were the sessions that had like the most success and what was I doing? And then it's like, oh, okay, the ones I did this, even though it looks good on paper, were like not successful for me. So let's just see what works.
Yeah, because some people, like you could work with the biggest names in the industry, but if you don't feel comfortable writing with them, the output isn't going to be what you need it to be successful. You know,
Absolutely not.
Times if you worked with somebody, an artist specifically, who maybe had a massive moment, and then they work with all the biggest names and they just cannot get another song because, you know,
Girl, girl. Nothing worse than being session number 150 and in their run of let me figure out where my album is. And you're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, I'm so exhausted. This is my third session today. And I'm like, oh, great. They're
yeah,
like, I don't have any ideas. I'm not inspired.
they're completely burnt out, and that's tough. That's when our job is super hard, when you're with someone that's exhausted.
It is hard. And I don't know if any label people are watching this to stop doing that because it's not fair to the artist. And I don't think you get the best work out of them. I don't think you get the best inspiration, the best quality of songs. I love that the UK is starting per diems for sessions, and I think that's good because you have to be a little bit more thought out of who you're booking if you're gonna have to pay,
Mm.
like $150 a day or something like 75 pounds or something like that a day. Like, okay, it's not a lot of money, but it adds up when it's, if you're doing 3 sessions a day. So maybe don't use, writers and producers as free artist development and just book intentional sessions that make sense. That's just my 2 cents
Oh, that's
anyway.
and writers are happy when they have a full belly.
Can't write hungry.
Oh, can't write hungry, that's for sure.
um, you worked with a wide range of creatives like Fitz and the Tantrums, shout out to Noel, Major Lazer, Fantasia, Keith Urban.
Yeah.
Um, that's like amazing. Are there ways you approach sessions depending on who you're working with?
No, it's always the same. I want them to feel comfortable. So I'm like I need to build rapport super quick. So I just treat everybody as if they're a normal person, because they are at the end of the day. We're all normal people. We all have the same struggles. We all have the same things that we're, working towards, or whatever. So no, I treat them like they're my friends already, you know what I mean? And I get vulnerable with people. I'm very honest and open in a session, and because I do think that that encourages whatever level of artist you're with to also be vulnerable. Like if you're brave enough to kind of take the first step in that, then they will too. And it's always a vault. Like I'm literally a vault of secrets. Like I mean, it's never going anywhere, anything that we talk about in a session, and that's kind of like rule number one. Um so
For
yeah,
sure.
I just make sure that they know that it's a safe space and their secrets are safe with me.
Well, that segues into the next thing where you say we're all normal people, but you're not normal. You're a superhero because you have two kids and you managed to have two kids and write mega smash songs at the same time. And you're a very involved mom. So tell us a little bit about like, how did it feel when you got the news you were pregnant for the first time? And how do you juggle career and being a mom and all of it?
Well, I think since becoming a mom, I have this newfound like appreciation for all mothers because I had no idea until I became one how difficult all of this is. But fun fact, I didn't actually start having success until after I got pregnant. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. My career was going to be over. I was like, how am I had no money. I just got signed like 2 years before. And, it takes 2 or 3 years to start generating income.
Mm-hmm.
And I was terrified. I just thought I didn't know how I was going to do it because, you have to pay for childcare. Childcare is expensive. We don't have family here. All of my family is in the UK. We didn't have a support system here. So I literally ran around town until I was 8, 9 months like I was ready to pop. I was almost in denial the first 9 months because I was just like, nope, not pregnant, nope, 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 nope. And I go to sessions and like I wrote Powerful with Diplo, and he took two, he was like double took at me because I was so huge, and I could see it. And I was like, oh God, what is he thinking? But I also did a session with David Guetta at 3 in the morning, and I was 7 months pregnant and huge. And he came in and he told me his wife would come to all of his DJ sets, like in the earliest hours of the morning with all of their kids. So they kind of,
Wow.
yes, yes. So that also
Wow. It's
made,
amazing when you like get in that world of being a parent and you talk to other parents and you see how they have juggled it and like David Guetta bringing his kids to his late night sets and stuff. Like you hear stuff like that and you're like, okay, like everyone finds their path.
you just do what you have to do. And that was literally my mantra. I literally wrote on a piece of paper, like, make it work, whatever happened. And I
Mm,
just went hard. And honestly, I think that's probably what helped me find success was that just my mindset completely shifted. I was like, I don't have a choice. I don't have the luxury to just not go to a session because I don't feel well one day. It's like,
mm,
show up and I have to show up 150%. Like I can't half-ass it. Whereas maybe before, I was just thinking, oh, you have time and it's gonna, and you feel like an inspiration has to just like hit you before you can write something great. And then I learned
mm.
after getting pregnant, I was like, nope, this is my job. I have to make something out of nothing right now. And it happened. It happened pretty quick, actually. So yeah, and then every female artist or female songwriter that I've worked with since, like I actually when I tell them that I have two kids, the first thing they ask me is like, "Oh my God, how do you do that?" Like I've been so scared to get pregnant. I just thought
Mm,
like all the fears that I had, which
mhm,
makes me sad because I'm like, why is this a thing? Why are we so scared that our careers are going to end when
mhm.
we get pregnant? Like that I don't notice any of my male colleagues having that concern.
That part. That part. And no, you're right. Well, first of all, I want to make it work mantra, a t-shirt, and that should be the name of this whole episode, make it work. I love that so much, and I'm gonna start saying that. And you're right, like, I got pregnant later in life, and one of the reasons was, well, for one, I was dating douchebags before, but the other one is like also, terrified that it's gonna kill your career. Like, how are you gonna juggle this? How do you make it work? How do you do anything, especially when you don't have a lot of examples of seeing it, and you hear so much negative talk about, I guess men and women, saying negative things about, oh, I mean, it's like all connected with, this kind of narrative of just kind of staying young forever, not growing, not maturing, not becoming a full-fledged, not fulfilling your full-fledged potential, really, because
Well,
you're
and
full,
that you only have value when you're super young and single and free,
right.
There's a huge demographic of people that don't fit into that are music consumers. So that's just BS.
100%. Also, that was when I felt the least valuable in my life, and was the most
Confident.
miserable. Right. Couldn't pay me to go back.
Yeah.
Hated it. So yeah, that's, I think it's something that everybody needs to hear. And look, there's women all over the industry making it work. Tons of songwriters just have babies,
Uh,
tons, and sing them everywhere.
when I was pregnant, I didn't know one. The only person who helped me was Lauren Christie, but she even had older kids. I mean, they were like high schoolers by that point. But I knew nobody. And this is another thing. I just think if you don't if you don't have a role model, like you have to be it for yourself. Like you have
Hmm.
to be the example. If you don't see somebody that looks like you, is your age, is your, whatever, socioeconomic background, whatever it is, if you don't see somebody, you have to be that. You have to be it for yourself.
Hmm.
And that's what I decided at that point. I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I have to do it.
And you're doing it so well. And I think we also have to get rid of, I hear people say sometimes like, oh, she's just a mom.
Yes,
Or I don't want to just be a mom.
just
Like,
like
shut
I'm
up.
just a songwriter. I'm just a songwriter. Are you a producer? No, I'm just a songwriter. Like it's some lesser than thing that
Oh, this is my favorite when an artist is like, well, if it doesn't work out for me, I'll just be a songwriter.
right. Like that's the backup plan.
Like, do you think it's that easy though? To just write songs for a living for other artists without performing and making a living?
I know I've had people say that to me too.
And I'm like, let's get rid of just.
Yeah.
Please get rid of just, because we need to honor every role, and
All
being
important.
it's
It,
all
it
important.
does not work without all of the components working together.
No,
You know, it's we're all as important as each other.
absolutely. Speaking of, that kind of bridges us into community. So I want to talk a little bit about community. SONA is a membership-based trade association, not for profit, standing in the gap of songwriters who are unable to legally unionize in the United States. We
Yeah.
focus on advocacy, education, and community. What does songwriter advocacy mean to you, and what are ways we can build a stronger community?
Um, I think we have to protect and value and empower the people who create the foundations of this industry, which is songwriters. I mean, without a song at the core, nobody's making money. Nobody, you know? I mean, I remember going into a session and realizing this for the first time. And I was with a producer, I was with an artist, I was with a manager, I was with an A&R guy, I was with the engineer. And I looked around and I thought to myself, if if I if I do my job well, everyone in this room is getting paid but me. you know,
How about that?
messed up. That is messed
Everybody, if you do your job well, woman with 2 kids,
I'm getting
everybody
everybody else paid,
except you.
and I'm making pennies unless it's radio or sync.
That does not make any sense.
It's makes no sense, and it's not right, and it's not fair, and it needs to be fixed, because without us there's no industry, you know. There just isn't. Without a song there's nothing. What are you going to monetize off? What are your platforms going to stream? So
Without songs, it's just influencers, and record companies can't survive off of influencers. No one can.
no.
You can't. That's not a sustainable thing. We're in the music industry, people.
You're in the music industry, and I mean, I have had people sort of, so as a songwriter, I think we have to advocate for master, like the money's in the master. It just is. And the second I realized that, that's all I mean, I write the song and publishing's great, but like you have to fight for a master. You have to have ownership in any project you're working on. And you have to create projects where you can own the like you have to create vehicles for your music, for your song, so you can own master. If you can do that, you will make money.
And you're really good at finding new artists while they're independent, and you're good on TikTok and, scrolling and finding people that you believe in. Like, I remember I did a session once with Idris Elba, and, he was obviously a really successful
Ew.
actor. You worked with him too?
No, I'm just saying, lucky you.
Oh, I know,
Amazing.
right? I am lucky. Yeah, like, but it was cool talking to him, because I like talking to successful people and like learning how are they successful and how are you maintaining it, And I'm like, how do you get your roles? I asked him, and he said, I create most of them.
Yep.
I was like, people aren't just knocking your door down for everything. He goes, no, I've created a lot of these roles, and I have to create the things I want to do. I'm like, and it blew my mind, because you see someone from the outside, and I'm sure it's the same way for music. People see something on the outside and you think, oh, everyone's knocking down their door to get to them, and this is how that happened. But you don't even know sometimes how aggressive that person had to be to make the situation happen. A lot of times, especially new songwriters and producers, think that, oh, you sign to a management or a publisher and everything's just gonna, they're just gonna do all the work for you. But I personally DM artists still to this day. If I see someone that I feel like I would be a good fit for, I'm very aggressive, like messaging them. If I get their number, I'll keep texting them every few months, like, hey, just checking in, when can we get in?
What's the worst that's gonna happen? What's the worst that's gonna happen? You don't hear a response, or they say no one time, but like my whole thing is like all it takes is one yes. Like I just need one yes. I need one person you need one person to advocate for you. You need one song to do well. You need one artist to say yes. You need one person to say, yes, I'm going to release your song. Like it just takes one thing. One.
You're right. So you might get 99 no's and one yes, and that one yes could change your whole life.
Not the one,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to, like, we're all creatives, and if you're a creative thinker, if you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a creative brain, you are creative in many things. So you can create vehicles for your songs so that you're not just always waiting for other people to give you opportunities. The minute I realized that, actually I really started to do well, because I stopped giving my power away. I realized how much it was damaging my own sense of like self-worth and self-esteem when I'm just like waiting for people to respond to a song that I send, or you're just sending songs out all the time. You're pitching, you're working with artists, like hoping they're gonna like what you do, and I realize I'm just giving my power away, all the time. So I wanted to get it back, and I wanted control, and I started finding my own artists. I started creating my own projects, and I've been really busy with that for the past couple of years. And I just signed one of them to Virgin a couple months
ago. Let's go.
Because I invented it in my brain. I was like,
entrepreneur, created it, got it signed, has ownership. This is what I'm talking about, Fran Hall. Let's go. Yes.
Well,
Love it.
I'm sorry, but we can't wait around for people to choose us, you know.
We already chosen.
You're already chosen. Exactly. And
Already chosen.
find people to collaborate with. Find somebody that believes in you. Just find, if you can't find anybody, believe in yourself, you know, just go it alone. I personally like to work with somebody else. I always like to have a partner in whatever I'm doing. That's just me, but some people don't need that, you know.
I
But
believe in you, Fran. You're the shit.
I believe in you're the shit. You
You're
are
the shit.
you are. You're amazing. Autumn is just
You're
wow,
amazing.
lady. What a lady.
What a lady. This is all we do is big each other up in our
I
session and
know.
then right about we're like, you're amazing. You're amazing. And then the poor producers was watching us like, why am I here?
I
Yeah.
know. You have to. I mean, we are a community, and like you're like the biggest advocate of anybody I know.
Oh,
You you're amazing. You
you're
know,
amazing.
always remind me why I love songwriting, why I want to be creative, why, you know, you always remind me of
Oh,
the importance of just the art, you know, and doing it for the love.
that means a lot. Thank you, Fran. That
Yeah.
really does mean a lot. So thank you again for joining us, Fran. As we close, I have a few rapid fire questions to ask you.
Okay.
Okay. What song do you wish you wrote?
Um, Landslide.
Oh, who's your favorite songwriter?
Chris Martin.
Mm. Who's your dream co-write? Dead
Mm,
or alive?
Prince.
Oh, let's go. Wow. What are
Yeah.
your three of your writing in studio must-haves?
Um, Laughter, uh, generosity of spirit,
Mm,
and a non-judgmental room.
yes. Do you have a favorite quote?
Yes. I went to an ASCAP convention and Quincy Jones was speaking,
Oh.
and he said something that always has stayed with me. And he said, never underestimate being underestimated. It's a
Say that again?
never underestimate being underestimated.
Oh,
It,
yes.
it's a superpower. And
Mm.
I absolutely love that. And I'm like, please underestimate me. Please. Because when you're underestimated, there's no pressure. There's no expectation. It's like you have so much freedom
Uh-huh.
and you can do whatever you want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing superpower. And then yeah, it's great. So I love that. I love that.
I love being underestimated all the time. It's great.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What is your favorite current music-based goal? What is one of your favorite current music-based goals?
To write, well, to build an empire would be one.
Ooh.
I do want to build an empire. But I also, just on a personal level, would love to write one of those evergreen songs that just lasts forever and ever and ever. That's those two things.
Love, love, love. We are just about at the end of our talk, and thank you again for joining, Fran. Oh, sorry. Um, you're such a fantastic human and songwriter and producer and entrepreneur. So you've given us a lot to take in and absorb and pass on. The
Yeah.
replay will be available on the SONA YouTube channel. I believe Faith has placed the link in the chat along with our website and socials. Yes, if you're not already a member, please consider joining us. You can go to wearesona.com and join. I promise it's probably the cost of like a nice dinner and you can have a whole year membership. Remember, you don't have to be a songwriter member to be a member, just someone that supports songwriters. And any final thoughts from you to our audience?
Oh, just keep going. Don't stop. Don't quit.
No, stop. Believe. Okay. yes, keep going, don't quit. And with that, final thanks for joining Sona's in the Room with series. I'm Autumn Rowe, and have a wonderful day, guys.
Bye, guys.
Awesome.
I forgot.